Soil is the basis of all production and life on the planet. The way in which we manage this is very much dependent on the type of soil we're dealing with. So it becomes very important that the people giving us advice on how to manage the soil have a consistent approach across the country that we can come to rely on. Who's responsible for all this? Well, today we find out. I'm at the National Soil Judging Competition just outside of Darwin to talk to a few people from Soil Science Australia to find out how their organisation is not only looking after soils but educating future generations in their preservation and their ongoing productivity. G'day Emily.
Hello Tim, how you going?
How you going? G'day Erin, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Now Erin, you're with CSIRO.
Yep.
And Emily, you're with the University in Adelaide?
That's right, University of Adelaide. I'm a research fellow.
Fantastic. So you're both early career professionals and you're involved in the soil judging. What's the advantage of being involved in soil judging for you guys?
Oh, I mean, for me personally, I really enjoy mentoring and teaching these sort of practical field skills. And then, for the students and for early career people, it's just great to condense like an entire year's worth of classroom learning into 3 days.
So they're doing a whole year's basic learning in 3 days?
Yeah, this is basically an entire semester of uni, easy.
And how are they coping with that?
I think it's pretty challenging for a lot of people.
The environment here is very different from what we're used to, so it's hot and it's long days, but it's a great experience.
Now for you, Emily, you work in soils.
That's right, yep.
And for you, it's still valuable to be involved in soil judging?
Absolutely. I see it as an amazing networking opportunity. Like if you think about it, we have many of the soil professionals from around Australia at all levels, senior and junior, and it's an opportunity to catch up, talk about different projects you're doing around Australia, talk soil, and it's really these sort of events that bring people together that can really be powerful in increasing your networks as an early career professional.
And I suppose you're passing your skills and knowledge on to current students so that they come out more powerful,
right.
But you're also challenging some habits maybe that you're building up yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you can only really know your soil profiles by getting out here and doing it again and again and again. So as an early career professional, we take every opportunity we can to get into a soil pit to increase our skills.
G'day Luke, how you going mate?
Good mate, how you doing?
Not too bad. Now you're representing the whole of South Australia here pretty much.
We are,
You've got 2 universities in the one group.
We do, yep.
How important is it for you as an academic working in a uni to have this opportunity to bring students out into the field in a different state?
Well, up until last year, some of these guys have never been into a soil pit and they've never looked at land suitability. They've never really quite understood soil forming processes. So, yeah, for these guys to come into the tropics and see a whole suite of different soil types, I think it's quite a valuable opportunity.
And being, I suppose, out of your comfort zone and being in a totally new environment, the problem-solving skills are through the roof, aren't they? Right up the top. Yeah. I saw some fantastic discussions down there before. Luke, you said that you were also learning some things as being part of this as well.
Yeah.
The learning never stops really with soils, does it?
No, and I think it's because it's such a subjective thing that the guys who work up here in the NT, they've sort of been moulded around 1 or 2 really experienced mentors who've taught them how they've done it.
Yep.
And then you go to Queensland and they've got the same thing happening there, and New South Wales got the same thing happening there, and they've all got these different thoughts on landscape formation and soils that people coming together like this, and we've got some really expert podologists, so we'll sit here and have a few beers and discuss what's happening. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so this is the critical thing. I mean, we manage soils as a country, so we have to interpret soils as a country. Henry, how are you, mate?
Good, Tim.
Great to see you here.
Yeah.
Now, you work for the Department of Primary Industries over in WA?
That's right, Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development, WA, yeah.
And your role is as a soil scientist, so
That's
you're quite
right.
passionate about what's happening here, aren't you?
Yeah, I like to attend these events every year because I actually learn as much as the students on these things.
So you're at the peak of your career, you're one of the best known soil scientists in WA, you work for the department, and these events continue to supply you with a learning experience as much as the students do.
Sure does.
What a wonderful thing. Now, getting these students here from around the country, you've brought a whole group from WA, vast distance that you've had to cover here.
Yeah.
You've also got a student here from China as well.
Yes.
How difficult is it for students to be involved in something like this with the cost that surrounds it?
Yeah, well, a lot of students are finding it tough, so that they actually need support, and we are actually providing support through our WA branch.
So Soil Science Australia has branches.
Yep.
They're not only running the event,
Yeah.
but they're also supporting students financially in getting to this event
Yes.
as well.
Yes,
That's
that's
pretty
right.
extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, I think it's necessary if you want to promote soil science. I think that you have to support students because they're our up-and-coming professionals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how are they going?
This would be one of my best teams, I reckon.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
quite confident.
Well, we better go and have a chat to them and meet them and
Yeah.
see what's going on here, I
Okay.
reckon. What do you think?
Yeah, no worries.
How's it all going?
Well, it's going.
It's going? Yeah. So, Tom, you're originally from China, but you're studying in New South Wales?
Yeah, University of New South Wales, not in Sydney.
Oh, not in Sydney.
Yeah, only myself. So that's why I have a chance to make connection with lovely guys from the WA. That's why I learn much from them this time.
Mate, that's outstanding. You're from China, you're studying in New South Wales.
Yes.
You've connected with a team from across the other side of the country in
Yes.
WA
Yeah.
to learn about soils at the top of Australia
Yeah.
in Darwin.
Yes.
So that's like a complete 360-degree view of Australia, isn't it?
Well, I like it. Why not? Yeah, you
Yeah,
just join them.
absolutely.
Yeah, yes. And yeah,
So what sort of opportunities for learning does a PhD student in agriculture have for coming to an event like this?
I think for PhD, like Lorena and I, we usually play the data like PHCC playing data, but actually we don't know the real soil in the field. So that's the reason for me, I come to this field to see the traditional, ordinary, the soil description from this experienced people. I think that's indeed a good lesson or course for me. This is what I couldn't get from uni. Just what I mentioned is that my uni doesn't have soil classes anymore. I just want to make sure my study and my research is just practical rather than just playing with data. Yeah. Yesterday, I don't think I know anything, but today it's getting better. That's what I want to get this
Good
time.
on you, Tom.
Yeah, thank
Mate,
you. Thank
mate,
you. Yeah.
Congratulations for putting yourself so far outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, thank you.
Both of you, Lorena and Tom, international students,
Yeah.
studying in a different state, coming to a different state to learn about soils, getting your hands on, getting involved, and actually building up practical skills that you'll be able to put money in the bank with. So that's fantastic.
Thank
well
you.
done, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah.
And good luck tomorrow with the competition.
Oh, thank you. Our team out here.
It's a great team, great team.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Henry and you can't go wrong with Vincent. This soil judging competition also has an international bent. I'm here with Rob McLenaghan from the University of Lincoln in New Zealand.
Yeah,
How are you, Rob?
I'm good.
Bit of hot weather for you guys, isn't it?
Just a slight
Just a little
change
bit.
here, about 12 degrees in Lincoln. Yeah,
And straight over here to
31,
31 here out in the beautiful wilderness.
Yeah.
You guys are regular contributors to this soil judging and you're in fact hosting it next year
We
in
are
New
hosting
Zealand.
it. Yeah.
What do you think is the importance that Lincoln sees in having such a large international contingent at a Soil Science Australia event every year?
Okay, so for us, it's exposing the students to international competitors as well as international soils. Where else are they going to be able to do that? Not going to be able to do it at Lincoln. So, just because our students can go anywhere. They have the knowledge and the expertise to be able to take their skills to anywhere in the world.
And Lincoln is renowned for turning out agriculture students around the world as well.
Yeah.
Your
very
students
much so.
find employment everywhere. So you're starting out as a university, exposing them to international experience through soil judging.
Through soil judging.
How important is it to do the soil judging for the students to back up what they learn in a classroom?
I think it's really good skills for them because we're finding that more and more farm systems want to diversify.
Yes.
So for their employment opportunities, these are students that are trained to be able to look at a farm system, to be able to identify what areas of their farm property have soils that are suitable for perhaps apple growing, grapevines.
Exactly. Now we were talking about that off camera a little bit before too, weren't we? And you were highlighting the point that you see a lot of value in graduates of Lincoln being able to go into a paddock and not just agree with the producer that they should put an orchard in, but to actually look at the soils and determine which area is going to be most profitable and least costly.
It is, because if a grower is going to change and diversify, that's a huge cost for them. You take apples, I think it's about $10,000 a hectare just to purchase the variety rights.
Yes.
That's without the
actual putting the tree in the ground.
trees in and all the infrastructure that goes with it. So if they're going to do that, they really need to identify what are the most versatile areas on their property, the most versatile soils for that production.
And they need to be able to go to a soil that they haven't seen before and make a decision where there's millions of dollars on the line.
There are millions of dollars, yeah.
So why not start with something like this?
Yeah, exactly.
And more agriculture in itself is becoming an international trade.
Trade, yes.
And even if you have a job in Australia one week, you might be required to make a decision on something that's in New Zealand next week or in Canada the following.
Yeah, like I've had people contact me from Colombia. How can we improve the productivity of the farmers in Colombia? They are subsistence farmers.
Yes.
And all they need is a little bit of advice.
Isn't that wonderful that you're in a position to give it to them?
Yeah.
And give these students the opportunity to do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Rod, fantastic, mate.
Okay.
You're hosting it next year.
We are.
Get on board, get into soil judging, go over and see the beautiful New Zealand. And Rod is a fantastic host and a lovely man. You're very passionate about your soils.
I am, very passionate.
Good on you, mate.
Okay, cheers.
Bernard, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Now, you're an academic from the University of Queensland, St Lucia.
That's correct, yes.
And you've got a team here, obviously involved very much in the pit here.
Yes.
They're a very passionate team, very excited about what they're doing.
Yes, no, they do like to be here, so they really enjoy their time because we can offer them something in a soil pit that we can't really manage in undergraduate teaching.
People might criticise you for that, criticise universities in general and say, well, why are you giving them such limited experience? But there are limits on the amount that you can deliver to 30 students in one pit at one time, aren't there?
That is certainly the problem, that if we have got large student cohorts, not everybody gets a chance to do hands-on practice.
And I assume not all the students want to either.
That is certainly an issue we often encounter. The students who really want to take it on, they are the ones we take to.
And they're the ones that are here. So it's good to know University of Queensland is not only supporting Soil Science Australia in this event, but you're also making an effort to ensure that your postgraduate students come out with not only a working knowledge of soils, but proficiency in soils.
Yes.
Well done, Bernard. Fantastic. Keep up the good work, mate.
Thank you.
G'day, guys. We've got some Queenslanders here.
Yeah, Maroons.
How are you? I notice you've been separated completely from the New South Wales contingent. They're as far away from you as practical.
They're probably a bit fragile, so we're just being respectful.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Last week was difficult, wasn't it? Yeah. Congratulations on that. And hopefully congratulations tomorrow on the soil judging. How are you guys finding this?
Well, we're having a lot of fun. Learning lots. I think the more we learn that we don't know a lot of...
Isn't that the case with everything? I was just talking to Henry
yeah.
before, who's a lifelong soil scientist, and he was saying how he learns every time he comes to one of these events.
It's really great. Everyone coming from different parts of the country, they each have different perspectives of what's common in their state.
Yes.
And so getting to share that knowledge in one place is really valuable, I think.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be practical experience when you've got people that have been in the field for 30, 40 years and then they can pass that legacy on to an up-and-coming cohort, and then we can hopefully take that forward into the future. So what Soil Science Australia is doing is really important to you guys to be able to involve yourselves in this sort of stuff. In both a personal and professional sense. Like we wouldn't be able to have half these skills without being able to join into these kind of groups, and we wouldn't be here without the assistance.
Because at university you don't really get the opportunity to be in contact with soil professionals on a one-to-one basis in a pit, do you?
No.
Not a great deal.
Not a great deal. You learn the basics, and they do a good job of giving you a grounding so you can participate in an event like this.
Yeah.
But I assume you're learning quite a few skills here that you didn't have before.
Yeah, the amount of knowledge that's in one location is like pretty impressive.
Good on you guys. Well, look, I'll let you get back to it. You're deep in discussion about this soil here, trying to classify it. And hopefully this leads to lifelong skills that you can benefit farmers and producers with and look after our environment with. So well done. And have a fantastic competition tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
So I'm with Dr. Ivana Oliver, and she's the brains and the effort behind organisation of this soil judging event. Ivana, how are you today?
Lovely, Tim. Great to meet you.
It's fantastic to meet you too, and thank you for having me out here. We've got so many different people out here. We've got university academics, we've got postgraduate, undergraduate students, and people working in industry. We've even got international students at this event. Why do you think it is that people are so interested in soils judging as a way of learning about soils?
Soil judging is just an awesome way. You get exposed to a diverse environment that you just may have never been to before throughout Australia and New Zealand. And I find the main benefit of this event is all the networking time that you get. you get 3 days with the same people that your peers at student level, early career level, but you get access to some of the top experts that we have in the country for 3 days, and you just can't get that any other event.
And you're in the pit. It's not a formal environment. You're in the pit, you're working together, and you're chatting casually with people with 20, 30, 40 years of experience.
Yeah, totally. I remember myself as a student, one year I competed back in 8 years ago. I started out as a student, and then I've coached a team, and now I'm
you're running
the operation.
You silly person.
I know, sucker for punishment. But in those couple of years that I was a student and access to those experts, I can walk up to them now when I see them at the next conference or the next event, go up, give them the biggest hug, and it's like catching up with old mates.
Isn't that wonderful?
Without soil judging, I would never have got that opportunity to pick their brains and eventually become their friends.
And I suppose the friendly competition and maybe intense competition tomorrow of soil judging really brings people's concentration levels to the fore and brings their skills up another level, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. It's so fascinating and a joy to watch the competitors, the students that are learning for the first time. Some of these guys, this is the first time they've ever been in a soil pit. And just over the 2 days of practice that we do with them, they start out a little bit unsure what to do, and then by the end of the second day, you can see the light bulbs going off, and they go, oh, that's how that observation relates to that outcome, and it's just a joy to watch.
And you know these people are going to go out, and the most important thing is they're going to give good, consistent advice to growers, producers and ecologists, and help us look after the precious soil upon which we all grow our food.
Certainly they will. And soils is such an underestimated resource that we have, and no matter whether we're trying to grow a crop, make bread, grow good grass, feed cows, it's got to start with the soil.
Well, it's really heartening to see the Federal Minister for this area out here in the field today talking with the organisers and the students, and it's really good to see Soil Science Australia getting behind this event, putting it on, and not only putting it on but making it possible for students to attend. So Ivana, great job, fantastic work over your way at Soil Science Australia. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, Tim.
It's one thing to have a fantastic soil judging competition to train students in how to interpret soils and have all of the expertise and the people on hand ready to run the competition, but getting students here is another major hurdle. Happily, there are some fantastic people working behind the scenes to get great students in agriculture to these events. Richard, how are you, mate? You've come a long way from Tassie with 2 teams of students.
We have.
University of Tasmania really values soil judging competition as part of its education package for students.
Yes.
How have you been able to overcome the significant financial impost that getting so many students to this competition in Darwin entails?
Split the load. So Bianca was very good in terms of communicating with our new initiative in Launceston and our work with the Tasmanian Farm Innovation Hub, and also with the Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture. Meanwhile, I worked in Hobart, basically with Soil Science Australia, to get local support as well as federal support. And also, as you were saying, some of those smaller consulting firms who really want these students, they want them as
There's a shortage, isn't there?
They're struggling to get qualified, field-capable students that can move into that professional realm. And so that's one of the reasons we got some commercial sponsorship as well.
So if you're in a small business or even a large business and you're lacking qualified staff, get onto Soil Science Australia and find out how you can support such an amazing initiative as the soil judging. Because it is important, isn't it?
Yep. It's about training people across this very broad, very diverse nation to that standard, and us as a professional body arguing about that. So it's not just only about the students, it's about that professional working as well.
Well, Richard, good on you, mate. I love the T-shirts.
Thank you.
And I love the organisation of these 2 teams, University of New England and University of Tas.
We'd
You've
love
come with all your gear, you've laid out everything, and you've got your students working like a clock.
We have, and we just want to thank the organisers for running an amazing competition. And very exciting, great learning environment for our students, so thanks for that.
No, awesome. Well, get on to Soil Science Australia if you think you can help with funding for the next one, which will be in New Zealand, so they'll probably need a little bit.
Yes.
Good on you, mate.
All right.
Have a fantastic day.
All right, thank you.
So there you go. Soil Science Australia is running a program, soil judging, that is helping to bridge the gap between theory and practice in the graduates of the future, that's internationally renowned and has seen support from universities right across Australia and New Zealand. So if you're in industry, get involved in supporting soil judging and the work that Soil Science Australia is doing around this valuable education resource. Guys, don't forget, if you like this kind of content, please do help the channel by subscribing and liking, and there's plenty more content like this on timthompson.ag. I'll see you next week. G'day Sarah, g'day Marley. How are you?
How are you? Good.
Oh, looks like this is where the action stations are, so you guys are busy judging these soils.
Yeah.
Can you take me through what you're actually doing to judge these soils? What are the steps? You've got your muffin tins laid out, I assume, with samples from various horizons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we go from the top of the soil profile down to the bottom as we run along this way.
Right.
So we went down there into the pit before and had a bit of a look about where we thought the different boundaries were for the different horizons. So we looked at texture, colour change, all of those sort of things.
Okay. And what are you seeing in terms of texture and colour change?
Well, we've got a fairly reasonable colour change from the top, and you can see it quite well in the profile too. It's much more of these sorts of darker colours at the top of the profile, and then we get much lighter and a little bit redder towards the end.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, so we're going through the textures now, and as well, the ones at the base of the profile, there's a lot more clay in there. It feels quite like plasticine, like modelling clay almost.
Yeah. So that's what the texturing's telling you. It's telling you the proportion of clay, the proportion of sand, the proportion of silt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Exactly
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So you're looking for that. Have you seen any gravel or anything else interesting in this, or is it fairly much soil?
No, we have. So this is a big bit of gravel that we've found. It's very hard because it's still very wet, so we can't. It's very difficult to sieve in this condition. You either have to push it through, but we've kind of just grabbed it and trying to pick out the gravelly bits, which I guess isn't the professional way to do it, but.
So you're getting a percentage of clay, percentage of sand, percentage of silt from the texturing. What do you do after that?
We do colour. So
okay. You got your Munsell book there?
Yeah, we've got our Munsell colour chart. So basically we can just flip through this. Yeah.
Yeah.
We flip through this and then you compare and choose the colours that we...
I always find it quite tricky to get the colour exactly right because all those colours are so similar, aren't they? Yeah. It takes a lot of umming and ahhing.
Because you can actually tuck them underneath.
Ah, yes, okay.
Yeah,
it's quite good.
That must be the new generation of Munsell.
You can go that, so you can see a little bit better. I'm getting really dirty, but you can see it's definitely a lot better than the old ones where you just have to...
So I need to go and buy a new Munsell book with the holes in it.
Yeah. So much better.
No, very good. So after we've done the colour, what does the colour tell us about? What's the purpose of doing the colour? I mean, it's nice to know what colour it is, but what's the purpose of colour?
Well, I guess the difference is, in the colour we can see, some of the different conditions that the soil is exposed to. So at the top we can see, there's these darker colours, which we do often see. It's indicative of there being a higher amount of organic matter in those top sections.
Right,
and
you
towards further down in the profile, we start to see
about leaching.
Yeah, leaching and the different states that iron might be in, which can tell us a bit about the, the waterlogging or lack of waterlogging in the soil.
This is looking fairly waterlogged, isn't it? Yeah. And that's what the guys with the vegetation were seeing as well with the vegetation cover.
That makes sense.
So it's good. You're matching up. It's important.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
So after that colour, that's going to tell us not only about the leaching and about the amount of iron content and things like that, but it's also going to give you a condition of the soil in this particular moment of time, isn't it?
Yeah, and it helps us figure out the classification as well. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is important to know because
that
that covers characteristics of soil management, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
So what after this? What else are you doing? You're doing any other special tricks?
Just done pH.
Just done pH. I just washed it off. It's nice to look at though.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Pretty colours.
We've got slaking and dispersion set up on the table over there, which these guys can actually have a look at if they'd like.
Okay, fantastic. And that slaking dispersion is going to tell you about salt content and behaviour of soils when it's tilled and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty important for farmers, isn't it? Because they need to know how to manage their paddocks to ensure that they don't collapse.
Yeah,
precisely.
Make sure that structure is going to stay there, especially if it's going to be so regularly exposed to large amounts of water. You do want to know how it's going to behave in that water.
And I suppose you guys are going to be going out into industry at some stage in the very near future. Yes. Congratulations. And you're going to be giving advice on how to manage soils.
Yeah.
So how important is it for an event like this to be held in a state that you're not familiar with? I mean, you're both poor little Victorians up here in the Territory.
It really good.
To be honest, we don't have much experience back home either. So like having this event is like, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So you've gone through an ag degree, I assume?
No.
No?
So just environmental science.
Environmental science?
Yeah.
And you haven't covered soils at all yet?
Well, we do soils. Like obviously I'm a soil scientist, I'm studying it.
Right.
But we don't really have sort of this availability to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
These are the first time I've done like proper pits.
Yeah.
Normally
we've gone and looked at soils.
We look at soils,
but we have never done like the pit characterization that we kind of get to experience here.
We both do more lab-based work, so it's sort of like,
So it's critical that Soil Science Australia is putting on an event like this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic, and the pits are so great. Like you know, the size of them, it's just fantastic. Like, to be able to actually see that much,
and to get a good perspective all the way through.
No, it's really fantastic. It's a great location. It is,
isn't it?
It's
as
very
hot
cool.
as it is.
It's hot, but you know what? It's nicer than Melbourne right now. And Melbourne is real cold, so I've been very much enjoying the warmth.
Well, guys, best of luck with the competition.
Thank
It sounds like you're going to learn an enormous amount, and I can't wait to see the results. And hopefully, you guys are up there. You got great spirit. Well done.
Thank you
Good
very
on you
much.
guys.
I got dirty hands.
That's all right. Dirtier the better, as long as it's the right sort of dirt.
Exactly. Thanks, Tim.